then we are just going to have to walk into it. And we're going to have to write down some numbers, and we're just going to have to do the vector math. So the end, yeah, I'll need to get a piece of paper. Yeah, he's sinking into the ground because of the, like, something's wrong. Alright, so where's the start? The start is at 0.85114. Then we got 33076. Alright, so that's the start. The direction is down. The end is 0.85114, and then negative 9966923, which is correct. So that's the end. Okay, so we've got the collision channel. So we're going to get the body instance. We've got it, and it is not a thing, so we have execute on PS Rich. Alright, so get all shapes for the actor. We just skipped all this crap. Alright, well, we'll go back inside. So we are executing this on the actual rigid body actor, and that's what's going on. So we're calculating the rotation of this thing by transforming the start into space. So X has gotten transformed, the start pose and the end pose. And we're going to iterate over all the shapes. And we're going to get our local pose and our local start and our end. And these look like that doesn't look like trash, that looks decent. Like, that's the correct Z. And we're going to do our physics geometry multi-sweep. So here we are inside of physics. So our hit count is something. Trace channel is 12. Trace complex, collision response. Our trace complex is false. Alright, so trace complex, maybe set that to true. And what is that set? That's it's part of our params. It's part of our collision query params. Let's go double check what that actually does. So collision query params. We have an ignore mask. Is there any complex? Well, it's part of params, which may be something else. Collision query params. Alright, it's there. Why the hell isn't the documentation saying anything about this? Alright, here it is. We should trace against complex collision. So maybe we should start setting some of these things to true. Like we should set the ignore blocking results, or we should set the find initial overlaps to true. Should probably start doing that. Other than that, what are we grabbing? So end minus start, the delta is end minus start. And the interesting thing here is we've got an x which is a 4, and the y and the z look proper. The magnitude is something. The delta mag is as we would expect. So we get the scene, we get all this, we're gonna lock the scene. The direction is -1, which is exactly what you'd expect. And then we do our sweep buffer, which the hit buffer has one hit in it, which is the normal is 0.3.9. So the normal that we got from physics with sync scene sweep is wrong. The direction's right, magnitude's there. Well, this is just nuts. Ignore actors, pre-filter, overlap query, ignore touches, ignore locks. Well, shit. So PhysX is coming back and saying that that's our impact normal, and our impact normal is let's think about this. Our impact normal is the other side of the box, maybe. Maybe we've penetrated the box? Alright, yeah, and we can't actually step into PhysX code because PhysX is not part of this. Alright, well, why don't we run another experiment real quick? Why don't we do a we just do a normal ray trace and see what we get. So the ray trace is going to start at position, it's going to go down, it's going to go far enough. We need to give it a collision channel, and we're going to give it I believe we can get the collision channel from the component. Let's get collision object type. So this is going to be the raycast normal is blocking hit dot impact normal. So maybe we'll get a different value for this. Use of undefined type, U paper physics component. Oh, we don't even know what a U paper physics component is. Nice. Raycast normal is 1? What? It'd be 1 because we're not ignoring an actor. We're colliding with ourselves with our second hit. So we're gonna do get actor. Let's get owner. Well, at least we know it's not some crazy. The math is saying what the math is saying, so that's what we have to deal with here. So raycast normal is looking correct. So maybe we could check if the raycast normal matches the normal. So maybe if we nudge it out and they're not the same, then we know something's screwed. 0.7, 0.6. So right here, the raycast normal is -1 and the surface normal is alright, yeah, so here we go. This is what we're looking at right now. The raycast normal is proper, but the surface normal is not. The surface normal is the wrong thing. So why would that be true? And it's got to be that we're penetrating the object. So maybe what we need to do is set some of these other values for these query parameters for the rays. Because definitely what's happening is because we're inside of this object, we are getting the other side of the box as our ray trace direction. So why would we be moving inside of it? Is there something wrong with our... So we've got new position is equal to starting point, start position plus movement direction vector times movement distance. So and then we're doing an overlap position with the new position. Oh, look at this! Look at this right here. We're actually testing against new position, and then yeah, we should be testing against the suggested position, shouldn't we? So yeah, we just set ourselves inside of the box. But this is also showing us what happens if we screwed up our stuff and put ourselves inside of a box. We'd be able to move out of it, it looks like. We wouldn't be able to penetrate it any farther. Kind of. It's all sorts of screwed up, isn't it? Alright. Well, let's see what happens now. No, we got stuck in the ground again. Our raycast normal is -1, and our surface normal is wrong again. So let's see. Well, this shouldn't be too bad. This is basically like we've moved inside of the object, And what we don't have right here is we don't have a like we're doing movement vector times movement distance, and we need to remove this raycast normal debug line that's just killing me right now. Killing our logs. So we're going in the movement direction vector, and we are casting by the movement distance. We're going from start position to these things. New position, new position. We're sweeping in the down direction. Well, let's go see exactly what's happening during this last frame where we sink into the ground. Because we're not checking our new position to see if we overlap. So why don't we just go do that? So we're going to check our new position against our overlaps. And if there's an overlap, we're going to log it out. So info log, we are overlapping with an object at our new position. So does that mean we should do like a ray trace a little bit farther than the movement distance? Maybe there's something there. Because we definitely could be moving just, you know, floating point math error. We could be moving a little bit farther than we'd like. Yeah, even on this floor, we're having a bit of a problem right in the middle. We struck down on able move in our sweep direction. what? So movement distance is 15. We struck ground and are able to move in our sweep direction. So yeah, it's when it's at the midpoint in the ramp, but I don't think it's necessarily about that. Like it's basically we're getting stuck inside of the piece of geometry for some reason, and when we move out of it, we do stuff. Because basically, like, these two frames are different. We have struck ground and are able to move in our sweep direction, and then like the starting points look identical. Like starting point is this is where we're trying to go. The surface normal is identical, and our movement distance is not. Alright, so we're never seeing this guy trigger in the new position. Suggested new position is surface normal plus the impact point. Well, let's see if we just like never set ourselves to this like slightly higher version. If we always just move normal to the surface, do we get stuck? Because the problem is definitely, and it's not just floor 62, it has to do with the distance of the movement and the frame time. And here we are trying to climb a sheer wall. See, Fat Sack is not sticking to that wall, so he's able to do things with it. Yeah, totally screwed. After a sweep, we are in the air as the ground is too far beneath us. Alright. So what's going on is basically mathematical precision is screwing us. I'm pretty sure. Basically moving far enough into the object that we are penetrating it. So how exactly are we going to do this? Like we're able to run all the way up there, but so the situation is we're moving along this guy. We've cast a ray down, and then we move, and we're actually moving, and we're moving just far enough that mathematical precision is putting us through the wall. So what we really want to do is kind of move. We want to make sure we move out of the wall. So I mean that's basically why we were moving ourselves. Like we were getting our collision point and then moving ourselves out based on the normal. So if the question is our surface normal at the beginning of the move, is that going to be the same surface normal at the end of the move? Because basically once we move, we're going to get a skirt of normal. And the reason we're going to get a skirt of normal is because we're going into an object. I mean, there's a few things we could try to do. We can try to move farther. We could do a test against, like an overlap test that's slightly larger, so test against a bigger box. Or you could sweep a slightly larger box. Gotta think about it. See what our options are. I know there's like an inflate parameter somewhere here. I'm pretty sure it was with the overlap component stuff. Yeah, it was the get collision shape, and there's an inflation float you can get for the collision shape itself. So component overlap multi. You go to world.cpp. This is not component overlap multi. Where are they? So it's component overlap multi on the actual primitive itself. Alright, so we're going to check out overlap multi and body instance.cpp. Is there any get shape? Alright, so there's there's no parameter in here to do any of this helpfully. So, what should we do? We're moving this direction. Well, yeah, but it's not a box. It's a primitive component. I don't want to. Like, I could do a bigger box, but I can't just easily have it test a bigger box. I have to make an actual box to test stuff like that, which doubling up our collision, things like that. Don't want to have to do that sort of thing. Well, so the problem is we get moved inside of this thing. Well, what's next is we should think about it. We come up with a genius solution and we implement it. That's simple as that. We just get it right. Well, I guess the other thing that we could do is we could try a little bit different settling algorithm. So what we're doing right now is we're moving our guy to his new location, like right here. And then what we're doing is we're casting a ray straight down. We're finding the surface normal there. And then we're basically trying to our new position is equal to the start position plus that. Our new position is, like, our suggested new position is the impact point of going down Like we are going down, and then we are moving outside of that by the impact point. So we're basically moving down. So this corner right here goes to here, and then we're like trying to move out by the surface normal by a very small amount, so that we settle. So we could change that algorithm so we move up to here by this normal vector, and then like maybe we try to move this way towards the ground. So what would that do? Like if the thing is right now, if like we're moving up a hill and we moved, above the lip of the hill, basically we'd move ourselves straight down, onto the ground there, supposedly. Which is what we'd want, as opposed to like taking this normal and then we like move ourselves further forward than we really want to be. Well, theoretically, this is what we want, so we just need to get this proper. And the problem is when we move forward, we're moving so that when we go down, then we're wrong. So what we could try to do is move this object up or something like that, and then cast down again. Kind of nudge it around. We could also try moving ourselves out farther. So we actually move. The other thing we could do is move, instead of moving normal, when we settle, we could try moving ourselves just up by a certain amount. We'll try that. Instead of moving at the normal vector, we will move just up. So we're casting down. Impact location is surface normal. So the suggested point is going to be the impact point plus surface normal. Well, that's not what we want. We want negative down. this is where we struck ground. Alright, so our starting position was such, or 1 velocity is that, our surface normal is correct, the movement direction is proper, we moved, we struck ground and are able to move in our sweep direction. So when we can't move in our sweep direction, we don't move at all, is what we do. And what ends up happening is we end up running at a shorter movement distance later. Until we got down to here where our movement distance is super short and we did not strike any object in our sweep. And that's how we were actually able to move. So the problem is we don't have anything that handles when we fail our sweep. Well, let's see. So we set to the new position, and then we were unable to do that. The impact point was at, impact distance was at 3. Impact point was, let's see, what's our Z? Starting position is 29,534, and this is 29,509. Are the normals all correct, at least? Normals do look correct, at least. Well, we're just gonna keep tinkering and see what we can find out. Are we ever getting it so that our overlap hit an object setting only to sweep position? Are we ever seeing this? Ever? We are never seeing that happen. We're always setting to this new position.